Hey guys, and welcome back to today's video. Today is Monday, January 6th, 2025, and today I'm going to be going over my 2026 gubernatorial election predictions. So this is the first video I have made in a while, and I hope you guys enjoy this video because I'm starting to get back into the habit of making videos. I've just been very busy recently these past couple months between the holidays, and even though I didn't post much on election day, I was very much behind the scenes watching it personally with my friends and family. And so yeah, I am back making videos, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So today we're going to be discussing the 2026 gubernatorial elections. Let's start off with the Democrats that are up. So first up, Gavin Newsom is term limited and cannot run again this year. But Katie Porter is the front runner on the Democrat side, even though there are many who have been declared. Although now that I look at it, Katie Porter is not officially declared yet, but there has been polling against with her and Steve Garvey in it, where she does lead Garvey by about 3 points with a open field of candidates. So she is kind of the front runner. That was a poll from 538. Let me pull it up real quick. Here we are. Governor of California. This is from the Los Angeles Times. And Women Up PAC showed Porter up against 3 points against Garvey. So that's definitely something to look out for. But obviously, that'll be a safe Democrat. Won't even be remotely close for the Republicans winning. But in Oregon, that is a different story. Tina Kochek is eligible to run, but has not stated if she will do so yet. I do expect that to go to the Democrats by a likely margin. Probably won't cross into the safe margin, but I expect it to go to the Democrats by around 13 to 14%. But that'll easily be won by the Democrats. In Hawaii, same for there. Brian Schultz, I believe. That's not the governor. Josh Green, 63% of the vote in 2022. Definitely will win. But just some of the other liberal states you can see on here: Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maryland. Incumbent Governor Wes Moore is extremely popular. I have no doubt that he will win by 20 to 30%. Easy, safe win margin there. For some Republican states that we're going to look at, Wyoming, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders got elected for the first time in 2022, replacing Asa Hutchinson. She will easily win by a safe margin there. This is her 2022 margin. Chris Jones, her opponent, did flip this one county there. That is where Fayette, I don't know how you pronounce that, is located, which Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were unable to do. He did win it within the 40 to 50% mark, which is still pretty impressive, and that is a decent sized place. But obviously, Sanders' overpowering support within the other counties put her over the threshold there. So no doubt it will go to her. Along with Alabama, Kay Ivory, I believe, is term limited. Let's check for Kay Ivory. I believe she's term limited. She is term limited, I think. Yeah, so she's term limited, so she can't run. But no matter who wins the Republican primary, that'll be a safe safe Republican for sure. We have in Illinois, we have J.B. Pritzker. J.B. Pritzker, I don't believe has announced he is running again, but that is definitely going to be likely to Governor J.B. Pritzker. Yeah, so he's gonna win, probably by a likely margin. I think just based on the 2024 shifts, with Republican gains, I don't think he'll be able to pull it off. And also considering in 2022 he did not get a safe margin there, so keep that in mind. In Minnesota, likely, I don't know who the Democrat will be yet, but it's looking pretty hopeful for whoever the Democrat is. I believe Tim Walz is he is going to be able to run. So Tim Walz probably going to be the nominee, looking at a probably 10 to 13% margin there. So yeah, there's that. Let's go to more Republican. South Dakota, Idaho, Nebraska will be safe for the Republicans. Although Nebraska we could see a shift there. Unlikely though. But it is possible, definitely something to look out for. I don't believe it'll come in 2026, but looking further into the future, maybe by 2030, we could see a likely margin for the Democrats, because the Democrats are really eyeing Nebraska now after that Dan Osborne stunning upset where he came within 6% of beating the incumbent Deb Fischer in the 2024 Senate election out of Nebraska. That's definitely something that should be concerning to the Republicans, but also not really, because they gained a lot. They gained a lot of margins in a lot of other places, including New York, New Jersey, and they flipped six previously Biden states. So, but who knows? That it was pretty much a red wave this year. But yeah, in Texas, I'm looking at a probably likely margin. We saw in 2022 Beto O'Rourke, who was the Democrat nominee, former congressman from the El Paso district, who ran against Ted Cruz in the 2018 Texas Senate election, who lost by roughly 2%. He performed against Greg Abbott pretty horribly compared to his margin against Ted Cruz. And I think no matter who the Democrats will nominate, it'll definitely be a likely Republican win out of there. Florida, same thing, potentially even safe. I don't know. After looking at the 2024 election results, Miami-Dade going unbeknownst margins to Trump, that was something that no one saw coming, except maybe the few Republicans who actually had watched that state. I wasn't really paying attention to Florida. That wasn't my main concern. I was looking at my home state of Michigan and the state of Pennsylvania, but I'm not surprised that it flipped. I knew it was going to go to the Republicans. I just didn't know Trump was going to win it by that much. So it's going to be within the safe to likely range. It's pretty much, it could go either way. But in Tennessee, we're going to see a safe margin there. I don't remember who the Republican is out of there. I guess Bill Lee is term limited, but John Rose and Tim Burchett are both looking to win the Republican nomination out of there. And I no doubt will it be a safe Republican. Bill Lee absolutely destroyed Jason Martin in the 2022 race out of there. But also you have to consider that low turnout is a very real thing within heavily Republican states like Oklahoma had, I believe, one of the lowest turnouts, or maybe it was West Virginia that had the lowest in the 2024 election. But no doubt will it go to the Republicans. So we have a few states left. I just want to go to Vermont. Vermont is going to be safe Republican. Phil Scott is the extremely popular Republican who has came out and voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in both the 2020 and 2024 elections. So that there's that, but I do suspect that it'll go to Phil Scott. In New Hampshire, I'm expecting to see a likely margin with I forget her name. Kelly Ayotte. Kelly Ayotte is up for re-election. I feel like she's going to become a pretty popular governor pretty quickly. She is Republican and is around the same conservative level as Chris Sununu, although she did support Trump in the 2024 election, unlike Sununu, who supported Nikki Haley. But she won. She beat Joyce Craig in the 2024 gubernatorial race with a margin of around 9%. I expect to see that same margin, maybe up it a little to 10%, but nothing too landslide-ish. In Iowa, I think we're going to see a likely margin for the Republicans there. If I can pull up, let's see, Iowa. Kim Reynolds is up for re-election, I believe. Kim Reynolds is up for re-election. Looking at her, she had a blowout landslide in the 2022 election where she won by almost 20 points, 19-ish. But the Republican Deidre DeJar only won 4 counties, and Kim Reynolds absolutely destroyed her. Pretty much every single county. Looking at the precinct map, it's just Reynolds land everywhere. So I'm looking at a likely margin. I think if this is going to be a blue wave, it's probably going to look like likely margin, but I could also see it going safe. But just for now, I'm gonna leave it at about 14.5% Kim Reynolds victory, but easily, like I said, it can go to safe margin. If it's not a blue wave, um it'll be safe. It's not a blue wave. Kansas, I think Laura Kelly has mentioned something about potentially running, and if the Democrats do nominate her, I do believe. Crap, I totally got that wrong. I was thinking of Senate. I apologize. This is gonna be likely. The the Lieutenant Governor David Toland is who I was thinking of. He has spoken interest of running. I think that he could make it a lean if it is a blue wave, but I just don't see the Democrats being able to get this. This will certainly be a Republican flip. In South Carolina, the same out of South Carolina, I think it'll be likely. And Alaska likely too, potentially even lean, but probably likely. Okay, so now we're getting down to our last couple states. Colorado, Jared Polis is term limited, but I definitely think it's going to be within 15 to 16% for the Democrat. And in New Mexico, that's definitely going to be likely for the Democrats. I don't remember who the Democrats were looking at. Deb Haaland and Martin Heinrich was the one who I was thinking of. If Martin Heinrich runs, this could easily become a safe in a midterm year with Trump as president, but for now, I'm just going to leave it as likely. So we have a few states left. In Nevada, I'm going to put it as lean right now. Joe Lombardo is the current governor of Nevada. He's pretty popular. He outseated Steve Scalise. I totally messed that name up. It's not Steve Scalise. Steve Sisolak. I'm sorry, their names sound so familiar. But Joe Lombardo is pretty popular, and I definitely see him winning by roughly 2 to 3 points potentially. But yeah, I definitely see a Lombardo victory there. In Arizona, I'm gonna see again another Katie Hobbs D plus 0.5 victory. I'm not really familiar with her polling numbers, but I don't think she's one of the most popular governors in the country. And I do think, considering Donald Trump won Arizona at the presidential level, but Ruben Gallego won the Senate there, it's a complete toss-up. Arizona is a swing state, and I just have that gut feeling that Katie Hobbs is just going to narrowly edge it out. So, yeah. Now, in Maine, I believe that's going to be a likely. Maine is a pretty liberal state. If we look at the 2022 results out of Maine, we can see there that Janet Mills did pretty well. She overperformed Harris and Biden's numbers there, and she won a few more counties. I'm not familiar with the names, but as you can see here, the ones I'm circling over, that's a county that Joe Biden nor Kamala Harris won. And so I'm seeing this as potentially about 13-ish%. It's going to be pretty close to hitting a safe margin. But as you can see, it is an open field. Susan Collins running could change this up and shift it up. But if Jared Golden wins, the Democrat nomination, it could be easily a likely to safe margin. Headed over to New York. Let's check out New York's 2022 results. Kathy Hochul is still in the running. Her 2022 margin was just absolutely mind-boggling how she came that close to losing in New York. That it should be a little frightening to the Democrats. I'm going to put it as lean. If we see Lee Zeldin running, which I'm going to check right now to see if he is running, he's not. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman has declared or mentioned he's interested. Mike Lauer, Steve McLaughlin, Rob Astornio, Mark Molinari. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But if we just look at this, the main problem with the Democrats in New York is Hochul is so unpopular. I just think that, especially considering how well Trump gained his margins there, I just think it's going to be a mix of a bad candidate and the shifting margins there, it's going to be a likely lean. I'm going to put it lean right now just to give the edge out to Republicans. So, yeah. Let's go to Georgia next. In Georgia, let's see. In Georgia, Chris Carr, the Attorney General, has declared his candidacy, and Stacey Abrams again was the 2018 and 2022 nominee. 2022, she lost pretty badly. She lost about by 8%. She lost a lot of ground in these areas that she worked so hard for Biden to gain in 2020. But in 2018, it came down to less than a point, about 1.5%. But I do think that it's going to be about a lean for Republicans. I also forgot to mention Jason Carter, who is grandson of Jimmy Carter, also was interested in running. And if we do see him running, he could be a new start of the Democrat Party. Could maybe make it a tilt, but looking like a lean right now. In the state of Ohio, the Attorney General there is looking to run. I think it's going to be a likely. I forget his name, so I'll just pull it up right now. He's the current Attorney General, David Yost. Mike DeWine is extremely popular, and he's been a great governor in the state of Ohio. I definitely think that David Yost could win. I just think that because he doesn't have as much name recognition as DeWine does, it's gonna shift it to the Democrats just ever so slightly. But yeah, I do think that he's gonna do pretty well there, and I'm putting it as likely right now. Let's go to Pennsylvania. I don't think I have much to say about Pennsylvania. Easily safe Democrat. Josh Shapiro is the current governor of Pennsylvania. He is extremely popular. In 2022, he faced election denier Doug Mastriano, who lost literally by 15%. Shapiro won many counties that Kamala Harris did not win this year, including a few that I'm circling right now. She did not win Erie. She did not win Westmoreland, I believe, is that county. I visited once. But yeah, and he way overperformed her margins in suburbs. Pretty remarkable considering what a swing state it is, and to have a governor win by a safe margin, it's just unbelievable. To my home state of Michigan now, Gretchen Whitmer is term limited, but looking at her 2022 results, were the Democrats aren't going to see any numbers like this. Also, considering Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan is running, and so he is extremely popular and has extreme name recognition. The thing about Duggan is he does have a lot of appeal to Republicans and Democrats, and I think no matter who wins this, Duggan is going to take equal votes out of Republicans and Democrats. So it's strictly just up to who the Democrats nominate. Now, there have been many rumors of Pete Buttigieg running, but I personally think either Garland Gilchrist or Jocelyn Benson is going to run. And looking at Jocelyn Benson's electoral history, she has performed so well, even up to Whitmer's numbers. What she's done with the Secretary of State, she's extremely popular. But like I said, Duggan is also extremely popular and has a lot of name recognition. So I think that's gonna definitely narrow it down. I'm not sure who the Republicans are gonna nominate. But Tudor Dixon is a name that has been brought up a few times, and if she does run again, it could spell disaster for her, because then a lot of people who voted for her in 2022 are going to vote for Duggan. So as of right now, I see this as a tilt Democrat if Jocelyn Benson becomes the Democrat nominee, and it is a blue wave year. Obviously, this is not looking like much of a blue wave for the Democrats on this governor's map, but the Senate and House have other stories to tell. Going over to our final state now, we have the state of Wisconsin, and Tony Evers is the governor of Wisconsin currently. He is eligible for re-election, and looking back at his 2022, he did a lot better than Kamala Harris did in 2024, and actually Joe Biden in 2020. I think we could see an Evers lean margin. I just see him winning probably about, my guess is 2%. he's doing a pretty good job in Wisconsin. I don't have any complaints about him. So yeah, I think Evers wins by about 2%. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm planning on making many more videos coming soon. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a great new year, and I hope you had a wonderful holiday season, whether you celebrated Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever you celebrate. I hope it was great, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.